This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, welcome. We are calling the meeting to order. This is the Southampton Housing Authority meeting for May 7th. It's 6:01 p.m. First order of business, as always, open time for the public. We do have a member of the public here, but we also have time for you on the agenda, so we can wait till then if that's cool with you. Okay. Next on the meeting agenda is to approve our April minutes. Did everyone get the email from Janet with the April minutes? I can pull that up in front of us. The last Janet minutes we'll ever have. Okay, hold on a second.
Hi.
Hi. She served us well. Miss her already. Give it a second. Don't mind me. You're just going to see all my employees' average hours per week in the background. Okay. Here we go. April 2nd. Okay. Okay. All right. We got a motion?
Well, yeah, the thing in the beginning, I am not E. Bowman, I am A. Bowman. So
Where does it say e-Bowman? Oh,
March minutes.
second. Well, good thing she gave me the Word document version so I can edit it. Here we go. So we are going to do this. Stop trying to protect me, Microsoft Word. I don't need protecting. Oh, she already updated it in the Word.
Okay, I let her know, so that's good.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Do we have a motion
I'll move.
Second.
Aye.
to approve the minutes? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great job, everyone. Okay, next order of business, we have the 354 College Highway next steps. So I was just after looking at the minutes, I remember that last time I never give you the sort of maybe I did give you the resolution about the how they were concerned that Habitat for Humanity was concerned about the like alleged unauthorized use. And then I asked Charlie Kanicki about it, and he said it was unlikely that the alleged unauthorized use would have caused any like permanent ground damage because he said this was like in the late 1800s and it was probably like some guy with a knapsack like sleeping in a shed and was unlikely to cause like this is not like a chemical spill situation. Those chemicals hasn't been invented yet. On the other thing, which was they asked if we could do another site visit because of the quote unquote significant data gap because there was snow cover on the ground. And so I reached out to back out to GZA to ask how much it would cost to do another just a site visit and not a whole thing. And so that cost is, one second, I'll put it in here. It was going to be $980 to do another site visit, which compared to like the whole thing, which was like 3,000 to 5,000 or something like that, not too bad. I think it's worth it. We do still have money in the account for this, a few thousand in it, and we don't have really too many more expenses to pay with it. So I'm here to seek a motion to approve paying $980 to do another site visit by GCA.
I'll move that.
Second.
Sorry.
Any discussion or questions? Steve?
Apologies for very bad internet connection. You guys are lagging video, audio, and who knows, I may disappear altogether. But I think this is a good idea. Can you get it organized such that Habitat could visit the site with GZA? Or maybe that's exactly what you're talking about.
Hmm. It wasn't initially planned to be part of it, but and it's a bit of a like coordinating people. But what we could do is we could set the date with GZA and just let Habitat know that date and say, if you have someone available, you're welcome to join them, rather than bending over backwards to try to like schedule
Yeah,
people to be there.
no, it starts with GZA, but I think that Habitat might be reassured by being on site with them.
True, true. Okay, I'll send that
Whatever
invitation.
they put in the report, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. I can extend that invite to them. Um, any other discussion or questions on the motion on the table? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
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 All right, thanks, guys. I have one more quick vote on this topic. So Barry finished our septic design. He did a great job. I learned a lot about leach fields talking to him about it. And we had already voted to spend the $2,100 on it, but he created these I guess blueprints is maybe not the word for it, and they were large, and so he paid an extra $50 to scan them into an emailable format. And so I wanted to do a new vote to pay for $2,150 to Barry Searle instead of the initial $2,100 that we approved. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make that motion, as you stated.
We got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then there's one other thing on this, which is sort of the more potentially time-consuming thing, but I wanted us to take another look at the statement of work. So I talked to Scott about what the RFP process looks like, and he said he would work on it with me as soon as I had together like what we needed and everything. And so we have the statement of work that we drafted like 3 years ago. So I just wanted to look it over one more time and see if we want to change it at all. And now we have the wisdom of Mr. Johnson here, and you are like a land use guy. So maybe you'll see something in our statement of work that looks terrible and you'll be able to advise us. So let me just pull that up. Give me a minute. Statement of work. Go.
I'd be happy to review it offline, but not
Okay.
in real time.
That is reasonable. So especially considering you have like internet issues and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to pull it up for everyone to look at. Give us a second to just get a sense of it. And then,
Right. If you want to give an overview, we'd all benefit.
yes. Okay, so I'm going to make this larger. So the statement of work is just like the sort of what our information we're giving to the procurement side of things so that they make an RFP that gets what we want. And so I didn't want to make it, we don't want to make it too prescriptive. Obviously, I'll have a chance to work with Scott on this and we'll get to like review it again before it's final. But we said we wanted 1 to 2 units, even though we know Habitat is only going to do 1. We did want to not exclude the possibility of someone who wants to build a duplex. We said, I guess this is something I update. I think before we said renting or selling, and then we realized we definitely want it to be home ownership, so it's selling the units. And then they said they would not respond to an RFP unless they had like at least 5 years to respond. And so I wanted to give this deadline, knowing that they would like, it might get in the pipeline sooner, but they said they sort of look at everything that's happening, see what they can get done, and they just like do it when they can. So, and then it has, you know, housing design things, all these things that I would love, Stephen, if you want to look at this later and just make sure there's nothing that doesn't make sense in there. We said rent or sell. Do we want to leave open the option to rent or not?
Who would be responsible for it if it was rented?
It would have to be them. So if we did include the rental, we'd include like property management as part of it.
And
Um,
I didn't know they did rentals, so
maybe they don't, and maybe that's why we put sell. Let me just see if, yeah, I think we took out I think initially we might have had language about doing like the rental and property maintenance and stuff, and I guess we changed our mind about that, but it was so long ago, I can't remember. Um, so anyway, I'm gonna just, unless anyone feels strongly that we want to provide the rental option. Um,
do you know how long they keep it affordable?
so like 40 years or something? Does anyone know?
Item 4, scroll down.
Let's see. Uh, in perpetuity, according to our things. Um,
Well, that's
that would
good.
be nice.
There, I earned my fee.
But something, I don't know, again, I don't know if we just made that up or that's something that actually happens, but that's something we can look at. And then
No,
end date, yeah?
I think that's likely the state law.
Okay, good. And then end date,
Mm.
this is another thing I'd love other people to weigh in on. If they're starting by January 1st, 2031, maximum end date, December 31st, 2034, that's 4 years. Is that how
Mhm.
long it takes to build a house? I don't know. Ish.
Is it December 31st, 31, or is it January 1st,
January
31?
1st,
Okay,
31.
thank you. I don't know. It depends.
Basically, I don't particularly care when it gets built. I just want to make this feasible for them to do.
How about we
Mhm.
tack another year on there, just for good measure?
Okay, just for good measure. Um, and yeah, okay, cool. And then we want them to communicate with us, assumptions and constraints, all this stuff. What protections do we have if the builders just stop in the middle of the project that I can talk to Scott about? So I guess my question here is, and I know I'm not giving you enough time to really look at it. What I can do is I can send it to all of you and you can just give it one last look over and see if there's anything that disturbs you or concerns you. If nothing is coming immediately to mind right now, I think we can move on, but I just wanted to bring this back into our consciousness because it's been sort of dormant for a very long time.
Yeah, since I've never seen it, that would be great.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. That's a good plan. So I'm going to just write that down so don't forget. Send SOW to everyone. So since we got this, the timing on this is looking like we might be able to get this out in like June. I'm hoping. Steven, is that a question?
I will review this offline, but the first thing is it describes what you want just fine, but it's a little hard to see what habitat gets. I think the
Mm.
premise is you want to convey the fee title in the land to habitat to accomplish this development purpose and the public purpose of ensuring that this unit is affordable in perpetuity. But
Oh, good
I
point.
think you missed the headline that we want to gift the land if you'll do this.
That's a really good point. And is that allowed? Are we allowed to just give people land for free, or do we have to like charge them $1? How does this?
Oh, no, no, no. That's, I'm sorry. Um, Strike gift, but still, the idea is you're going to convey the fee title for this purpose in at the resolution of the bid.
And do we need to charge them something for it? Anything or no? Like, is there some rule we need to charge them $1?
Beyond my expertise, Scott et al.
Okay. Um, do we need to charge them? And then you know what I should also do is in that I should take that write up of all the pre-work we did and be like, here's all this stuff and it's included. That way Scott can use that language in the RFP. So I will do that before I send it to you guys.
Awesome.
Okay. I believe that's all on that property for now. Any last questions, thoughts, concerns about 354? Okay, let's move on. Next on the agenda is I got this email from Chris Fowles about that I'm just gonna show you guys. Okay. So she says, maybe that Daniel is you, Daniel. It is. She says, this is land near Dan on Glendale Road. It would be an expansion of the current conservation land we're looking into for the town, as it's also near the town well. However, the main SIPTA house across the street, corner of Route 10 and Glendale, 68 College Highway, will also be coming on the market soon. The realtor, who's from town, wondered if the town might want it for affordable housing. She thought it could be a two-family home. I assume we're stuck without having the trust functional unless the CPC could somehow negotiate a direct sale. I think she means the housing authority. The CPC does not do anything itself. It only gives people money. So A, does anybody know if this is like already sold and moot at this point? These things didn't happen. Yes, sir? Scott? Stephen?
Um, I suspect Dan knows better and more timely than I because he walked to his window. But as I drove by this afternoon, about 5 o'clock, yes, maybe four, there were 8 to 10 people in the field on this lot. They were not walking dogs or bird watching. They were looking at the development lot. And I wondered who they were, whether it was some other branch of town. Admittedly, I'm flipping. I'm talking about the piece of undeveloped property, except for one of those red barns that lies. Yeah, it appears to be part of the ZIPTA conservation land. I had no idea that this house would be coming on the market, but I can look up the anyone could look up tax assessors data and see what it is generally. You won't be able to determine whether it could be a feasible two-family or just one family or what the value might be. But I want to underscore that both parcels or the other parcel is in active consideration, probably going through the water department, the undeveloped parcel with
Okay.
the little red barn.
Okay.
So this is very interesting, and all I can say is we can get a little bit of information.
Yeah. And also, like, I have no. How does one negotiate a direct sale? Do I just call them and say, "Hi, I'm Sierra. Do you want to do a direct sale? Also, do you mind waiting until special town meeting in December and holding off on this and not making money for 7 months? Cool, thanks." Like, how does this?
I would advise against that because poor realtors already heard that perhaps several times, and the fact that Chris is, oh, this is a little while ago. All right,
Yeah.
several days anyway. Yeah, check in with Chris and Scott because I had not heard about the house,
Mhm.
but I can confirm that there is, you know, daily, hourly interest in the other piece of real estate.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, I'm sorry. We all understand that this means fall special town meeting, contingent upon grant funding, blah blah blah.
Once again, we
That
just need to populate this darn housing trust. Like, we keep coming back to this, and but Joy made this point that was like, why do we keep doing these things when all we really need to do is populate this housing trust, and then we don't have to like debate this and be like, well, can we ask them to do us a favor and hold off on the sale and do all this stuff? Like, we just got to populate this housing trust. But I mean, I'm
Here,
open
here.
to having the conversation if you guys think it's a good idea.
I think somebody needs to see the inside of the house first. It could just be,
Sierra,
I
why
don't know
don't
if
you
somebody's been living in it and if it's, or if it hasn't been lived in, if what
Yeah.
kind of condition it's in.
Yeah, true. Like what kind of expenses for
Mhm.
rehabilitation might it involve? What else are we thinking about this?
Well, it's a lot easier than building a house.
Right. It's true.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to do this. And, the deeper we get into, I know we're going to move on to zero college highway conversation next, but, you know, this idea that we might save our CPC money for that, like, first of all, our CPC money is a drop in the bucket compared to what housing is going to cost to build there. Second of all, we don't know what could fall through or what might fail to get voted on. And so giving up all of our other opportunities before then for the sake of this like supposed thing that's going to happen, maybe that's not the best way to go either. Um, but then there is the question of bandwidth. But then having a house that's already built, if it's in good shape, maybe takes less bandwidth than having a fresh property that we need to do everything that we did for 354 College Highway on. Um, so maybe the next step is info gathering, finding out who the realtors are, looking at the tax map, talking to Chris and just seeing if we can maybe get a site visit
That's probably
happening.
the
The
email.
realtor,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
the realtor is in the email after Chris's.
This person.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
Oh, here's something she said. Hold on, let me see what she actually said. SIPTA farmland. Okay, that's not the one we're talking about.
right.
Right. However, this realtor presented this particular opportunity at the Open Space Committee last time
Oh,
they met.
okay.
And there's really active interest on the part of the water commissioners, or I should say the town administrator and the water superintendent. The commissioners have not yet met.
Um, so, but if you think the idea is dead in the water for me to go to Kristen and say, do you want to wait for a special town meeting? Then what's even the point of any of this?
Well, I think that's for the land, right? You talk about the land, and we're talking about the house. That's two different parcels. One's across the street from the other. Zero
Do we
Glendale
know
is
that
the land.
Kristen is selling both of them, or it could be someone else?
I think 68 College Highway's different than Zero Glendale.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Oh, okay.
But her email subject says 0 Glendale Road / 68 College Highway. So maybe there was
Right.
something about it earlier. And
I would assume that although you don't yet have information about College Highway, you do have what we saw about Glendale.
yeah,
Glendale is complicated. It's really not a good house site and subject to appraisal. It's a timing and special town meeting too, you know.
I,
So
Dan, is that your house right
I,
there?
I would
now I'm a
close the
couple more
loop with
down.
Chris.
Yeah.
It sounds
But
to me
actually,
like the consensus is there's interest in the house,
yeah.
but like with the open land, we scarcely have any information to begin with.
Yeah.
If you go up, I could probably tell you which house they're talking about. I saw it in the picture.
Cool.
Yeah, see that in the top row of a picture across from the red barn on the street. There's a white house in the very corner edge of the picture.
That
Lower
one?
lower down.
That
Yep,
one?
that's I think that's the house they're talking about.
So that's like literally your like neighbor, basically.
Well, a couple. I'm the other
Further.
way. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're this way. Okay.
Yep.
If
For the
Interesting. Okay.
moment,
if
What
you
was that?
if you put 68, whatever the 68 College Highway in for Southampton in a Google search, you'll see the house.
Okay. Okay. Let's take a look at that. All right. Not College Highway, right? Glendale Road. No, it is College Highway
No, it is College Highway. It's two different addresses.
on the corner. Okay.
Then scroll down.
Oh, to the ooh.
You can
Ooh.
pick either one, Zillow
Yeah,
or
that's it. That's the
Okay.
house.
Off market. Well, that's a good sign for us so far. It's Zestimate, which if we're asking someone for a direct sale, we're not lowballing them either. Is 437, which that's like most of our money if we wanted to do this. 5 beds, 2 baths, single family, 1880.
Mhm.
So if it was going to be, I mean, it has 2 baths, so it could be made into a duplex, but it's not yet. That would be a renovation we'd pay for, which we wouldn't be able to afford after buying something for $437. Although I have no idea what a Zestimate translates to in like real life people buying stuff. These days, I'm guessing it probably translates to like people will pay even more than the appraised value. But um, any more picks? I might buy it. I need a screen porch. Just kidding. I don't have $437,000. I don't even have 1/20th of that. Um, okay. So I think this is a slight maybe. Like maybe I'd like to learn more about it, but it seems like it might be a little bit like out of our price range.
And if you're going to own it, the town is going to own it and rent it as affordable housing, it has to be in, it has to meet certain requirements of for housing. So I don't know what it would be, but it can't be old and not cared for.
Right.
I'm
And
not saying it is. You can't see
right,
inside.
but it is from the 1800s. Um, and yeah, who knows how recently the interior was redone. But
If I could
I,
chime in,
yeah, sure.
I don't think the town wants to own and manage a rental. No,
Oh no, we
we
definitely try to get Habitat or someone to take it and manage it for us. But maybe Habitat doesn't do
so
that.
we have right. We have a slight interest subject to finding the nonprofit partner that would manage it because
Right.
it's not talk about bandwidth. I think you've got more bandwidth than you realize, but not to own and manage real estate.
Definitely not.
Never.
Um,
No, not as long as I'm around.
and it's also just, it's like our entire CPA bank account. And it's like, I guess if it was a really awesome scenario and but it's like by the time we figure this out, it's probably going to be like on the market. So anyway, I think maybe for moving forward, we just try to gather more info before our next meeting, see if we come to other conclusions. Maybe I will shop around some of the CDCs and just see, because in case something like this comes up again, I would be curious to know, like, let's say there's a 1 to 2 family house that we're able to buy. Is there a CDC or someone around here that would be willing to rent it, handle the, lottery for affordability and whatever, and manage it and do other, like, is that something that people want to take on? I don't actually know. It's probably a little too small for Wayfinders. They tend to do the larger complexes. Um,
I think that would be a great reality check.
yeah. So I'm gonna do that. Look into CDC's tiny rental. Okay. So I'll do that just because it's info we're gonna need in the future. And in the meantime, keep your ears to the ground, keep your eyes at the window. Dan, let us know what goes on out there. And if you have a chance to if you see them doing like an open house or anything that we could walk around, can you go
Yeah.
and go up and like peek in the windows?
Oh,
I was just reading about the legality of public photography, and apparently if someone doesn't have their shades drawn, you're allowed to take pics inside their windows.
oh, okay. Hey, whatever it takes for the housing authority, you know.
That's a ridiculous rule, but anyway.
Dan, if they do have an open house, could you let us know?
Oh yeah, I'll let you know.
I'd
Yep.
come. I want some cookies. And I'm sure they serve cookies at open houses. That's how that goes, right?
And
Is
not
it just that they have
COVID, maybe.
No, they have candles that smell like cookies and nothing to eat, probably. Um, okay, let's move on. So now we are ready to talk about Zero College Highway planning updates. Did you guys see this email from Stephen today about the next community meeting that's coming up? Which is just to say, well, you know what, Stephen, why don't you, if you're still there, grab the mic and tell the people what you're here for.
All right. So I'm on the contact or contract group that is interfacing with land planners on behalf of the town, along with Scott and Randall Kemp. And as we have had one public forum and little committee focus groups and all this, our land planners are developing like the best two options. And they're looking to get the next slug of community engagement around this. And they said, well, how about in addition to inviting all the residents, that we engage the public safety building committee, the senior center building committee, the advocates for open space and or greenway, plus housing. And sounded fine to me. And I was fortunate to be able to recruit some folks on the conservation and open space side. And I suggested that I could help round up the housing interest. The other two, they've got ad hoc committees for feasibility and rolling it out, senior center, public safety, and Scott will get them in line. But I'm here on bended knee, appealing to the few and hoping you're willing to, help the conversation along, where we're down to like two good options, but recognizing that housing may be the most nebulous. Um, and that's why what I forwarded to you in the fullness of time was the statement of interest from you all that you prepared thoughtfully, maybe 4 months ago now. So no shade that you don't remember what words you committed to. But it was provided to the land planners as a jumping off point. We've come a long, long, long ways from that point. I'm just trying to seed the thought. And maybe the response from the last public meeting is more helpful. But first off, are there a couple of human beings that would be willing to, on Saturday morning at Norris School, help, and we're not sure, present the housing concepts or continue more of a facilitated dialogue around a Lego table? We're not exactly sure, and we'd be looking to, really, this is about trying to broaden and deepen the engagement in town. And I saw that Joy couldn't join tonight, but all these people that have been involved that we might need to recruit for this townwide effort.
And that's for May 31st?
May 31st is what looks like we're homing in on, but we'd also identified June 14th.
I know I won't be here May 31st.
Yeah, and people might be already engaged with protests or whatever else.
Dan,
That's
question for
where
you.
we're at.
First of all, Dan, did you remember that you volunteered to take minutes for us? I didn't remember.
That's why we're recording.
I am
It's
recording.
recording. It's recording, so I can go back and look.
You know how to find the recordings? Because we don't get that. They don't go up for another like week or so. You know how to find the recordings and do all that, right?
I can Google it, but yeah, I'll do that.
It's somewhere on the thing. Okay. But also, Dan, I'm so sorry to ask you this.
Yep.
I do see you as one of the most diplomatic people I know.
Well, thank you. I
And
don't know. Steven's pretty good.
I don't know if that diplomacy is the word there. But I would very much don't believe in my own ability to do this. When I went to the last one and people started rabble-rousing and like spreading disinformation about housing and like showing their sort of classist, racist asses, I like was not able to deal and I like pieced out. And so
Yeah.
I really struggle with that like calm debate, not getting mad. I feel like you could probably handle it.
Sure,
And
I got it. I got it. You sold me. You sold.
oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry that you get tagged to do all the things.
It's okay.
But
Here to help.
and if it does get changed to May to June 14th, would you consider helping facilitate?
Well, I'm in the same boat as you, and I'm not sure I'm going to be here then either. So
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just want to ask. I don't want to single out Dan. I don't know you well enough to know how diplomatic you are yet, Anne, but
No, I don't, I get upset and I don't think I can't think well when I'm that upset. And yeah, not in my backyard.
triggering.
Yeah, talking I have a really hard time with.
I do. I'm a very good writer, and if you want, Dan, if you want me to write you some talking points, I'll be more than happy to do that, even though you already know all of them.
Yeah. No, we'll make sure we're prepared in terms of what we want to talk about and what messages we want to get across beforehand. So.
And Stephen, you can represent us with housing, right? You're one of the
Oh,
most knowledgeable housing people around, and you're not even on the committee.
thank you. I think my role as a member of the select board and having all the interests in mind and trying to integrate them. And
Mhm.
really, that is my passion, is to find the way in which each enhances the other and ideally brings income to the town, but that's not for tonight.
Yeah.
No, I, and I recognize this is a small committee and we're trying to build it up, and then there's populating the housing trust board. But I wonder if it's for the workshop an opportunity to bring Joy back in, or
Yeah.
or whom. I mean, I'm a newbie in town,
She might
let
be
alone to
willing.
the housing authority. Yeah, so it's just
I'll call her.
she'd be good.
Facilitator.
She's had to professionally train to be in charge of her emotions.
Yes, exactly. Um, and I just want to reiterate, it's not because I'm a woman that I'm like this. It's just my personality,
I
just
know.
so you know. And I don't need to convince you guys, but it's not because women are
You
emotionally
see my
volatile. It's because I'm emotionally volatile. Um, okay. And I will
I
try to
feel your
attend.
pain.
Thank you. Okay.
Good.
So I feel like I had another question about. Okay, so we did have another meeting of the group that Anne unfortunately didn't hear about until last minute. I didn't either. I just happened to be available of the Planet Big Planning group, and basically we looked through the survey results, and it was mildly to moderately disheartening to see that housing was like the thing that people were least psyched about, but also not surprising because we knew
Right.
that already.
That's unfortunately, this brings out more naysayers than many other things do.
Yeah.
Most other things do.
I know. People really hate poor people so much. The vibe I'm getting. But also people are concerned about revenue, and I get that. And um However, the idea that we would sell like a couple parcels on the front and that would make up any kind of revenue for the town is like a pipe dream. That's not how that works. So, anywho, I do see, like I said last meeting, and maybe we'd had a meeting since that date, and maybe that's why I feel like we've already had this conversation. But my thing was we are a lot more likely to get support for age restricted housing than we are other. But then the other idea was to have unit restricted housing. So basically, we have, only very few units with more than 2 bedrooms. And then it could be older adults, it could be young adults who live by themselves, it could be a single mom, etc. So maybe one theory is that limiting the size of the units could limit concerns about school burden, basically. There's also the statistics that I wish they had harped on a little more, the facilitators, about how like, what was it, like 0.1 student per unit or something is what actually gets traditionally added to a town when you put in a new affordable housing. So more stats on that. I think we're going to need to be armed with that for this facilitated meeting, which I'm going to hope to attend. I just don't want to promise to be the diplomatic one there. So I think part of what we should do is just look up some really good stats, like myth busting stats, basically. So that when people come with their BS, we can be like, actually, facts say no. These people probably don't believe in science, but whatever.
You can, New Jersey requires all their cities and towns to have affordable housing. It's a state mandate.
Mhm.
And there's a development, Mountain Laurel, and I haven't looked at their website in a few years, but it has some really good information that, it's all everything people say is not true.
Right.
Who are opposed to it, but they don't want it. And so that's the information they get.
Right.
They learn.
It's confirmation bias. Well, that's
Okay.
helpful. Thank you. I'll look at that in my myth busting gathering. The other takeaway, what was the other takeaway from that? Oh, the other takeaway was we asked Kyle, the facilitator, who's apparently on paternity leave now. He's just like up and peaced out. We were like, so is this like a good rating for like interest in affordable housing compared to other committees or sorry, other communities, like other towns? And he was like, honestly, this isn't as bad as what I've seen. I've seen a lot more vitriol against housing in other communities. So my thought was, if we're grading on a curve, we're actually very in support of affordable housing in this town. And so that's great. That was the only thing that really made me feel better after that meeting. So
So,
it could be worse.
when people talk about traffic for any kind of, there's going to be a traffic study.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And
And then they're going to put in safety stuff.
They're still going to argue against it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's a traffic study and it's experts who do traffic studies. So it's hard. It's really, really hard.
And the exact same thing with managing stormwater to protect the drinking water aquifer. That will all be done very competently. But how do we get from here to there? If I could, Sarah, you did an amazing recap so succinctly and really got the essence of that meeting. I think what this group could do is get more down and comfortable with what the housing program would be. And you were just outlining that because there will be resistance, but we can't answer the questions about trip generation, traffic impact, or how many parking spaces, or let alone how many school children. Kyle left us with a going away present presciently about a week ago, and it was data about and it's local, and I can't quote it, but I'll share it. Is school child generation per unit, whether it's rental, owner occupied, the whole damn thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Exactly
about.
right. So what we have to do, I'm sorry, I'm just here to encourage
No, go
you
ahead.
all, is to, wrap your arms around what do you think this town needs and would support in terms of the next step. And I've heard a lot of things around 40 units. I've heard a lot of things about architecture that are important. And
Hmm.
then uh, who are we addressing? And you have several times, several meetings, talked about how the mix of unit sizes, with or without restrictions or preferences, can guide the whole thing. Okay.
Hmm.
So I've also heard that Wayfinders is the way because the other CDCs, great as they are, this is not their niche. So I think I would hope that you could get your arms around the preferred housing program and we can go back to Wayfinders. Also, think about when and how we introduce Wayfinders to the community.
Hmm.
Right. They were present but not prominent at the first workshop. Is there a
Right.
different role for them at this workshop?
Yeah.
And so I just put a lot of stuff on your plate and I'm gonna mute out. Peace out.
Well, I think part of it is that Lauren Bergatti, the one who showed up, she's not the sort of like PR person, which is very much Keith, and so I think she's less likely to like get up and expound with opinions. She's more just sort of info gathering, although she did give me a heads up, which was just like, can you explain to these people a little better that the decision has not been made already without them and that like we're still in the design phase. But anyway, um I would be happy to reach out to Keith again and Keith and Lauren and all them's and Annie. And just sort of see how we could get a little clearer on like some kind of proposal we could make. Are we in agreement about mix of units? Are we in agreement that we don't initially want to restrict it, age restrict it? I think we've been in agreement about that for a while, but that we do want to. And what does that look like? Does that mean 10 one-bedrooms, 22 bedrooms, 10 three-bedrooms? Like, and is this a question that we need to figure out before we go to Wayfinders?
Well, I think Wayfinders could tell you
Right.
what
It's
yeah,
Anne's right.
So I could go to them and ask them to either meet with me or to meet with all of us and just sort of talk it out and come up with something. Either they meet with me and we deal with it, and then I come back to you all with like a proposal, or we ask them to come to one of our meetings. Do y'all have a preference on that?
um I have a hard time doing more than I'm already doing.
Fair enough.
Coming to one of our meetings, and it just depends on how much ahead of time I know something.
Yeah. And also, if we're trying to get answers before May 31st, it's much more likely that I'll have a chance to talk to them than we'll have a chance to uh, get everyone together. Dan, do you want to be in on this conversation? Or would you like to not have that added to your plate and we'll just give you the info after?
How about just give me the information after? It's gonna be faster, I think, than trying to coordinate, you know.
Sounds great.
Well,
Steven, you want to come with me on this probably virtual conversation?
I will yes, I would like to.
Awesome. Okay. That'd be
so
perfect.
and
Yes.
Cedar, if you also emphasize universal design,
Mm-hmm.
will um people are I don't I don't know enough about Southampton to know that if there is a deficit for affordable housing for seniors.
It is
Um
something we hear a lot. Yes. So I
yeah,
think
but
that will
I
help
don't
us.
know that it's really factual
Yeah.
what you hear. Um and um oh, what was I going to say?
Was it about universal
Well, Anne,
decline?
while you're
No,
collecting your thought,
when
I've heard your point loudly, and I have friends and relatives in architecture, so I know exactly what design issues you're addressing. And I think it's already recorded on our wish list of things
Mhm,
for housing,
right,
along with net zero from an energy perspective.
yeah, yeah. And when you talked about the people who qualify for affordable housing, if you
Mhm.
can talk about what that income level is.
Yes, because then people
It,
will see themselves in it. Okay, good
it
point.
can be teachers, and
Yeah.
for people who grew up in the town whose parents are still here, who have to live somewhere else but might want to live here, it can be them. In a the people who work in, there's not a lot of commercial in town, but people who work in offices in Big Y, in
Right.
whatever there is, they qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think if we
people,
show people the real numbers of what 80% of AMI is, they're going to be shocked. They're going to be like, wait,
right,
I thought I was in the upper class.
yeah, yeah, and if it's a two-bedroom and you have two people with income, then their income's even less.
Hmm.
But it's half of what the AMI is.
Right. Yeah, we can get that
Um,
whole chart. That's a great talking point, Anne, for this facilitation. I hope you can come. I know you probably
I
can't.
know, I know I won't be here on the 31st.
But we'll represent that.
Well, capture that, capture Ian's point,
Yes.
because it is something that if we describe what program we think Southampton would embrace, then between Wayfinders and the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, we
Mhm.
can address these issues. Okay, what is the public financing or the tax benefited financing program require for affordable housing?
Yeah, funding
What do
sources.
we what do we think about the missing middle? And is that
Hmm,
something that we seriously need to address?
Mhm.
But we need to get some market reality from wayfinders, and that includes financing and the data, the sort of impacts or benefits that fall out of the program that we decide. So it'll be so many traffic trips. It'll be so much stormwater runoff, but
Mhm.
it'll be so many units that are at X price point. And I think we're talking about rental, permanent ownership by the nonprofit. Um, yeah. So as soon as we really get comfortable with a housing program that is market realistic, then we can start the analysis.
Yeah. Okay.
When you talked about housing, isn't there any zoning regulation that speaks to housing, speaks to parking? So that would
Yes.
give you that
And
information.
there is, but I would ask that we set zoning aside because
No, no,
there
I
are
just, okay.
half a dozen reasons why we might pursue something that is outside of Southampton zoning provided for under the state law, the anti-snob zoning, Chapter
Okay.
40B,
40B. Yeah.
comprehensive permit, friendly version, where we all say this is what we want to do, recognizing that it doesn't exactly match our zoning, but it does match our community goals.
Right.
And that's
Friendly
very,
40B.
very
Yeah.
different. If you've ever read about 40B in Massachusetts, it's mostly otherwise, where the well-financed developer or the highly entity comes to town and says, I will build you towers of housing and meet your affordable housing requirements, and therefore you shall give me permit.
Hmm.
And that is a rough characterization of 40B law in Massachusetts. And it's playing out in East Hampton. It's exactly what Sierra
Yep.
Vista is.
I think we're losing you, Stephen.
Private developer initiative sidestepped a lot of local zoning. But with the broad community consensus.
Hmm.
Can,
Um,
can you ask Wayfair if they ever do something like this with market rate housing? Because that would address the missing middle.
yeah, I will ask.
I think the missing middle is also subsidized.
Yeah, a little bit. Well,
It,
luckily for at
yeah,
least for community preservation funds, it's up to 100% AMI instead of up to 80% AMI. So there's community housing which hits that up to 100, but um yeah. Okay, so let's keep
That
this
is
moving.
an incredibly important point to bring forward to the housing trust. That is huge.
The AMI difference.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
because I
Um,
think that the tax incentivized tax credit kind of financing for affordable housing is where we came up with this missing middle because it only goes up to 80%.
right.
Between 80 and 100, what do? CPA allows it? That's
Yeah, it does, but CPA
fantastic. That,
only has like $500,000, so it ain't gonna cover the whole thing.
no. I just mark that down. We're going to circle back to that.
In my brain, I got it.
Good.
But it doesn't land us on the SHI, but it does hit that community housing button, so that's good. Um, okay, I'd love us to move on from this, try to wrap up this meeting in the next little bit. Any last urgent thoughts on Zero College Highway? Okay. Lastly, SHA and Housing Trust recruitment. So as I was like at the end of that 3 hour town meeting, as I was like, let me get the fuck out of here. So over it. Um, Someone stopped me to talk to me about affordable housing, and I was like, oh, gotta talk to them. What if I can recruit her? So I like captain my cranky over it biatch, and I was like, my gosh, you should join the housing trust. She was like, wait, CPA funds can be used for affordable housing? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, the only thing is, and I told her all about the need for the housing trust. And I was like, really, really need people in the housing trust. She seemed a little overwhelmed by my enthusiasm, so I did not ask her name because I was worried she was going to think I was going to stalk her, which I was, to try to get her to join the housing trust. But keep making friends. You remember your assignment, go out and make 6 friends or whatever at the grocery store. Get them to join the housing trust. I have not yet officially volunteered to be on the housing trust, but I am continuing to think that's going to be probably the next thing I should do. Because we need to get this thing going. Um, so that's that. Stephen, do you still want to join the housing authority? And what would be the time frame for that? Do you want to get appointed or something and have someone else be elected? What was the plan for that?
Well, I went to vote today, and it looks like there's some open slots even after I voted for Ann. There's still some blanks. Isn't that right?
yeah, yes.
And then it gets worse because, life happens and people move around and, we lost Cindy Palmer from so many boards last year. It's bound to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at any rate, we need to think about this. I am willing to serve in the place where it's most advantageous, and I put my name in for the trust.
Okay, great.
And um, and if we're not going to have a trust for an indefinite amount of time, I should jump on the housing authority, and I would be willing to do that. It's just I was holding back when it looked like everything was holding together, and now,
Yeah.
with Janet leaving and so on. So, yes, happy to
Well,
participate as an official member.
okay, well, let me know. Can I count on you to like figure that shit out without my help, and just let me know when you're on the committee. Let me know when you've been sworn in.
Wait. With your assent, I think what it requires is, we're on a cycle for the election, and even before Ann gets her votes counted, what you'd be doing is asking the select board to make an appointment.
Okay, so
Um,
are we clear that it's definitely the appointed slot that is the open one and not an elected one? Is that true?
Now, in the consideration of the open slot,
Mm-hmm.
the elected but nobody stepped up slot, it is my understanding that the select board can appoint someone to serve as a full member,
Okay,
as opposed to what we do with many committees is have a select board liaison who
right.
is ex officio.
Okay.
And it varies around different committees what their practice is. It's confusing as hell to me, but I would be, again, just close it out, willing to serve where it's most advantageous.
Okay. Well, okay, Stephen, block your ears. Do you guys want me to vote to ask the select board to
Yes.
appoint Stephen to our committee?
Yes.
Yes?
Definitely.
Okay, good. Let's do that. I'm gonna consider that a vote, or whatever. No,
I
but let's do an official vote. Make a motion, second it, and let's do it.
I make a motion that we get the select board to elect or uh,
Appoint.
appoint Stephen Thor Johnson to the Southampton Housing Authority.
Second.
All in favor?
Me.
Aye.
I
Okay. Great job, everyone. Okay. Last thing, we just need to schedule our next meeting. Um, I forgot all about this meeting. I didn't even put it on my calendar. I only put it on the My Town Government calendar, which is arguably more important. So let me make sure I do it this time. So just give me a minute to like really get it together and get into the right place for this. Okay. So here we go. Calendar. Um, Let us meet. So we'll deal with the prepping for the 31st behind the scenes, and we'll just deal with that with email and everything. We'll do that offline, as they say. So let's schedule
Right.
our next meeting for early June. We can follow up on how all that went. Um,
What if it isn't on the 31st, but on the 14th? Do you want to schedule the meeting so it would accommodate either date?
hmm. You know, I think it doesn't matter all that much whether we meet before or after. In a way, like if we do have a chance to meet before, that's cool. We can like deal with any last minute stuff that we haven't handled offline, or figure out the plan for that. But I think let's do the week of June 9th, if you guys are cool with that. Let me hold on, I need to get my second calendar. Okay, today is Wednesday. Do you guys want to do Wednesday, June 11th at 6?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, putting it on both calendars. Okay. And are there any final last minute thoughts, concerns, questions, things we need to talk about?
Yeah. Question.
Mhm.
What would it look like moving the June meeting out a week? I just closed my calendar after noticing that I likely can't make the date you just settled on.
Let's see. How about June 18th? Do you guys like that?
Sure.
All right.
Oh.
1 minute. 6 p.m. SHA. See, this is how these things happen, is then I don't change it on the calendar. I'm doing it both while we're here. June 18th. Okay. It's in there. All right. Any really final last words? What about a motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.